Main Street, Letterkenny, and online at watsonmenswear.com. Confirmation wear also now in stock.
The DL Debate with Sister Sara's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sara's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Check this.
Welcome one and all to the DL Debate. Thanks so much for tuning in. Now on Highland Radio are back via the podcast. Thank you, Donna Marie, for the news. The legendary Avon Borland for the Power Hour Plus. I'm delighted to say I'm joined in studio here by the one and only Pauric Hilferty.
How are you, Brendan? You keeping well?
Our live audience now is giving you a wee... I'm going to make my own props for this.
Oh, a little clap.
I don't know how all the buttons
Thanks,
work.
Brett. You're doing well at this. Yeah, it's going good.
I had to give you a round of applause because that's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Oh, thanks, Brendan. Hey, I really appreciate it. How are you?
Listen, I'm good. Busy day, busy weekend. You know, of multiple things. Mostly GA, of course. That's what we'll talk about now. But we can
multiple aspects. I suppose we'll put it down to that. You know, but yeah, it's been another great weekend for Donegal. I suppose it's becoming a bit of a theme, Brendan, here.
Yeah, you two draws in the accumulator, had you?
Yeah, well. Look, we'll go to the first one, the big one. Donegal against Armagh, top of the table clash, mouthwater encounter. Bit of a championship feel to that one, Brendan, wasn't there, yesterday in the athletic grounds? You would have loved to be.
The box it, you like that. That would go well in Termin.
To be fair, I really do like the athletic grounds. Just the stadium's right on top of the players.
It's the best league ground in the country because it's just at the right size and you have backed by it. And Armagh people said themselves, Armagh fans are crazy. Like they're proper, like behind the team in India. And of course, the big interest from Donegal. So 11,500. I mean, it's a huge crowd.
It was box office, you know. But look, as I say, there were people there queuing up to get in at 11:30. I heard today, so that was interesting to hear that. But no, look, top of the table clash, Armagh and Donegal, renowned for years, over the years to being just both sides, you know. There's never any quarter given, but suppose Brendan will analyse it through later on with Aaron Kernan.
He might know a wee bit about it.
He might have a bit of better understanding. All right, but no, look, I suppose it was it's a game.
I tell you what, you disagree with him, whatever he says.
I'll just say no, you're wrong. I'd like to know what Kieran McGinney and Jim McGuinness was having a conversation about. Brendan, you might have known. You might have got that, did you?
Yeah, listen, two interesting characters for sure. And listen, even we'll talk later, like Conleth Gilligan joining, you know, Big Donaghy and you know, the backroom team that they have there is huge.
It's phenomenal, yeah.
You just keep pulling people in, and that's coming up shortly. As you're saying, later on the show, I think you'll enjoy this one too. We're going to talk to the one and only Michael Sticky Ward.
Looking forward to that, yeah.
He's won the 4 divisions. I wonder, has anybody else done that? You know, I know there's another fella in the team won it, and Sticky will tell us about that. If anybody who ate 25,000 and knows,
could just tell us because we didn't do the preparation, Brendan.
I could start researching who won the 4 divisions. That would take you down a few rabbit holes.
No, there's not too many now, in fairness. I would say, look, it's going to be a great conversation with Sticky as well.
Yeah, and I've actually won 1 and 4. That's as much as I've done. So that's what I've done in my time. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear Sticky. And I'm interested to hear a bit about the Rua story because they really fell off the perch. Now they look like they're getting close back to where they should be, competing at the top, you know.
They're coming back again, and suppose, like, you know, they've changed up their style of play, Brendan, which is another factor that I've looked at over the last number of years with Rua, but at underage level doing so much good things and have a number of players coming to the fore. And look, a really good, prominent senior side. You know, suppose the development of that team now is something that everyone's interested in seeing. You know, Rua coming back as another powerhouse in Donegal. We all need more teams, as I say, but Rua for years, you know, of course, you had many a battle with them. But look, there's a resurgence there in the south of the county, which is good.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
it'll produce county players as well. Just one other wee thing to mention there: 2 Donegal schools through the All-Ireland senior final. School Wara, Buncrana and Abbey Vocational School won their respective semi-finals on Saturday. Congratulations to them. School Wara, under the management of Kevin Campbell, and the Abbey team are under the management of Stuart McFadden. There's interviews both up on highlandradio.com, as is reaction from loads of people. One of the people we want to get reaction from is Mickey McCann, the Donegal hurling boss. He's on the line now. Mickey, how are you?
Not too bad, Brendan. Yourself?
Mickey, keeping the best, sir. Mickey, you're away from home after that Derry game. You were looking to pick up a couple of points. There never seems to be much between us and Tyrone in terms of squads, and at the end of the day, the spoils ended up shared. What did you make of it?
Brendan, but a disappointment and a bit of relief, sort of similar to the football yesterday. I felt we were probably the better side, and we opened the gap out to 3 points on a couple of occasions, but they kept clawing us back, Brendan, and at the end we went one up again the 70th minute, and then they equalised, and then the last minute was just mad. You could have lost the game, so we could have gone down the road a lot more disappointed. So a bit disappointed when we met up in the huddle afterwards, but at the same time we could have lost it, Brendan. But I felt that it's probably maybe a point drop we could have held on.
And Mickey, the league, as all the leagues are now, they're so tight in terms of 1 minute you're looking at a possible semi-final towards promotion. In another game you lose it and you could be in relegation. Is it now a bit of a chase and pack yourselves? We're obviously playing Roscommon in a couple of weeks and Tyrone. Is that the way you see this the league shaping up in terms of getting into that semi-final?
Yeah, well, obviously Derry's going to be in the final, I'd say, Brendan, and then ourselves and Tyrone and Roscommon's level on points at the minute, so and London's on too, so the last two games are so important. If you get a result down in Roscommon, possibly Tyrone beat London, it could leave you in the semi-final. If Tyrone go and get beat, even we won, it's going to be a real humdinger come St Paddy's Day and against London at home, so it'll still be all to play for in the last day. But as you say, it can go either way at the minute. There's at least another 3 teams that can make that semi-final spot.
Yeah, that's the thing about the leagues, Mike. It's the same everywhere, isn't it? And it's just about, I suppose, gaining that bit of momentum. Mickey, just on the game there, as you said, the 3 points up, you're just going into the final quarter. You built up a 3-point lead, and then came the sucker punch of the goal. But as with your team always, Mickey, there's always a kickback. There's a never say die, and it doesn't matter what happens in a game. The lads are ready to take it on board, and just looking at the score in Gilmore again, every time we needed a point was popping up, and there was a great team performance happening there, even with conceding that goal, which should have swung the momentum back to Tyrone.
Yeah, I suppose, Brendan, 2 young teams, to be fair. Tyrone have a few boys retired too, and they have a lot of young lads on there, and they're very impressive, a bit like our own. They're really keen hurlers, and they really put a huge effort in. So Brendan, just on the goal, just to lead up to the goal, I felt we were 3 points up, and there was a big hit on Conor Garland on his head, and I felt it should have been a free in from the 45-metre line, and it was let play on, and the ball goes back to their keeper and straight down the pitch and under the net, where instead of maybe being 4 up, you ended up level. So it's a big turning point in the game, and I just felt they had Kevin Pauric before, and he's been very good, but on Saturday we felt there's a few decisions out there. Even the keeper came out with the ball and he lost it, and we turned it over, and he ended up giving a very soft free out, and just a few wee things like that. Maybe the home advantage works in your favour at times, but the goal was a massive turning point and a real momentum swing, but it felt we had a free in. But as you say, we dug deep down the pitch, and Jared Gilmore sticks you a point up again, and he was excellent on Saturday again, and 100% from place balls, Brendan, and it's like Stephen Gillespie from wing back hit 3 points. So it's some great performances, Brendan. The main thing is we show great character when you go level again. They take the lead again and just hard fought back to get something out of the game, which is pleasing,
Yeah, ruthless in front of the goals. Yeah, they had quite a few wides. Mickey, just overall, Mickey, looking into it, we've spoke many times about you're bringing in new players and always unearthing new players into the squad. In terms of the league this year, is it a thing where, is promotion something that you think about in terms of let's see where it takes us, or is it about just staying Division 2, unearthing those players, getting your team shaped together, and then going all out championship?
I suppose if it was a normal setup, Brendan, with the league's been restructured now. There's the top 3 teams is actually going to go into Division 2 next year, which would leave you in a really tough division. Now it'd be nice to get up there and see how you compete at that level. it definitely will be a test up, and you probably could get a couple of beatings on it. But the fact that the top three, Brendan, is going to go up, we'll be looking for that semi-final spot, which last year we got, but we know promotion. So if you get the top three this year, your promotion to 2B's been done away with next year. So it's something we talked about, and as we say, if we get there, it'll be great. If not, we're going to get a lot of learning out of this league and these young boys, and as I say, on Air Stosh and Grant there from Buncana, who got a senior start on Saturday. So look, we're definitely getting a lot out of the young boys, and it's great experience for them. If it gets to the top three, it'd be great, an extra match for the championship would be great to get a semi-final,
I suppose that thing, Mickey, as a coach, you're always weighing it up. You want the challenge, but then, as you said, it's about learning. If it's as you said, a couple of beatings could swing it either way in terms of, but you're always learning from the process itself. And just interesting there, the comments of the new GA president, Jarlath Burns, on about club hurling. Interesting that's one of his main strategies coming in, Mickey, to make sure there's many teams as possible are playing hurling and are helped to coach and promote the game. That's probably should have a good bearing in Donegal.
As Brendan, when you just look at Donegal, maybe 7-8 years ago, you're looking at three teams. Now there's 7 or 8 there. You've Dunlow started up, you've Ballyshannon going again, and Buncana, Cairndona, and obviously ourselves, Tanton Unions and McCool. So, you 7 or 8 teams there, and looking at you can see it when it comes to the county team. You just get that 1 or 2 extra men from different clubs, and as you say, the more clubs the better. And it'd be nice to see maybe another couple of clubs starting up in Donegal, and just promoting the game that bit better, and it can only make the county team stronger then,
Yeah, Pauric Hilferty's here with me. Mickey, maybe you could include him and give him a few nights coaching. They could take it back to Terman there. I don't know about the Terman boys with sticks.
Well, it could, we can always learn, Brennan,
Listen, I think every club. Listen, I was down at Dunlow's dinner dance on Saturday night there, Mickey, and of course they're competing, with the 4. They've got the camogie, the hurling, the football ladies. They're very strong in score as well. There's so much going on in the clubs, but I mean the effect on the community across all sorts, because everybody has different skills. You got to at least get the chance to play with a small ball.
Exactly, Brendan, and it's something Foes and Burt, you were just handed the hurl, and it's tough going at times, Brendan, being a dual club on the county, especially our football team will be affected, when you've 6 or 7 club players away with the county most weekends now, up all the way through the league. So, but it's something we're keen to keep going as being a dual club and putting huge effort onto both codes, So, as I say, the small ball means a lot to in Burt here.
Good man. Well, listen, Mickey, you've a wee week off in between. If there's not a week off, but a weekend off, I don't even know.
No, you don't get a weekend.
Nobody gets time off, do they? There's probably training Sunday morning at 8:30 somewhere.
Up a hill.
Yes, Brendan will be training early at the weekend, is right. So it'll not be a weekend off.
No, of course. I know maybe from a bit of travelling, that's it. But you'll sort the Rossies out after that. Mickey, listen, great chatting to you as ever. Keep up the good work, and we'll speak to you as the season goes on, all right?
Cheers, Brendan.
Top man, Mickey McCann there, Donegal hurling boss. Doing a great job, massive job. As ever, after the break, we're going to speak to Aaron Kernan. Unless you want to speak first?
No, well, I was thinking about the hurling there. You were on about it, the clubs. I suppose they're starting to do a bit more work in the Gaeltacht clubs, within the hurling as well. So, yeah. Brendan, as you look, you've got 8 or 9 senior teams, and you're going to have a few more, hopefully, in the next couple of years.
What you're saying, no matter what, if you have a team, there has to be a couple of guys in there just by the law of averages.
Well, you look at the numbers of players coming to play football now at the minute. There's not going to be game time for them all either, so obviously that might be something that could develop down through the years, and we could get you a position in goals eventually, Brandon. You don't have to do too.
I've played a wee bit for Burt actually. There you go.
Yeah.
I wasn't much good, but I got up in the team. But they must have been very short numbers.
Now you've got that cut,
I see. That's the mum's influence. All the girls played camogie, you see, so we would have been pucking away there, So been a bit of hurling. I've a great love. Who couldn't love the game of hurling? It is.
That's fantastic.
In many ways, it blows the other game away. We were in Healy Park at Saturday night, and it was 1-5-4 at half time or whatever, and the hurling match had 2.5 times the score in airs. It was just every time we went over them, there was 4 or 5 points. You were going over and back. They'd come to us. There might be 1 point scored or none scored. But listen, that game did liven up second half. We'll give it a wee mention after the break as well. We chat to Aaron Kernan.
The DL Debate with Sister Sara's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sara's kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Their expert team offer orthodontics, teeth whitening, implants and composite bonding all in-house. Start your journey by calling 074 97 40404 or easily book your appointment online at a time that suits you through their user-friendly patient portal. Available anytime, anywhere at bluepoppydental.com. Blue Poppy Dental and Orthodontics, Letterkenny and Donegal Town. Gift vouchers available.
Enhance your skills with SafeTech's part-funded training programs. At SafeTech, we provide courses including first aid, roadworks, people moving and handling, confined spaces, electrofusion and machinery training for Ireland and UK sites. Also online programs such as water hygiene, construction supervisors, safety reps and much more. If you have a group for training, SafeTech will go to you. Contact SafeTech today at safetech.ie and take the first step towards upskilling and safety compliance.
Buying or moving home can be a strange mixture of excitement and stress. So the last thing you need is worrying about conveyancing. Time to call McElhenney & Associates. They'll move that property transaction along swiftly, make sure everything's in order and prevent any nasty surprises. Residential, commercial, leasing or voluntary transfer. Call today on 074 917 5989 or find us online. We'll do the paperwork, you do the wallpaper. McElhenney & Associates Solicitors, Stranorlar. How can we help?
With a high digital online skills course, you'll feel a real difference.
I can listen to all the music I like. The bus app that's coming out, it's brilliant.
Anything you want to know, it's at your fingertips.
They're small things, but they mean something.
Learn essential online skills with simple, accessible lessons at highdigital.ie or free phone 1800 20 30 30. Brought to you by Vodafone Foundation and Alone. Vodafone. Together we can.
The DL Debate with Sister Sara's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sara's kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Yes, welcome back again. Now we turn our attention to the football of the weekend, and I'm joined by a man who knows a thing or two about it. It's Armagh legend himself, Aaron Kernan. Aaron, how are you, sir?
Dev, great to be chatting to you again. How's the form?
You're out doing a bit of coaching there, are you, this evening, Aaron?
I am, yeah. This is night one of the next stage of life, as I would say. Retirement and then straight into under 10 coaching. So, yeah, 60 kids, first things back. So
sounds fun.
Them so far, anyway.
We heard you giving out already there in the background.
That sounds fun. Now.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good to get back out at the club and helping out the young ones. And yeah, they're mad for a road already.
Yeah, and before we get to the big game, Donegal and Armagh, tell me, you were in Croke Park, I suppose for teams like Donegal and Armagh and everybody else were trying to get up to the level of the two teams was playing. What did you make of of Kerry and Dublin?
Yeah, geez, without losing the run of yourself in late February, I have to say I was unbelievably impressed with Dublin. I suppose there's always been plenty of talk and chat about them this past few years and maybe picking holes in their style, or some players have gone a wee bit stale. But I have to say, what I've seen the other night of them, they were extraordinary. The pace, the power, the hunger, how quick they moved the ball from one end of the field to the other, and the options that they had ahead of the ball, I suppose, was the biggest thing. It was just, Kerry couldn't live with them at all. How well they functioned, their kick out in the first half was brilliant, but it was, I suppose, not, if you're looking for a change in All-Ireland champions or mixing up the All-Ireland series, it mightn't have been something that would have excited you. But I just have to say, how they played on the night, you just couldn't but be impressed and say hats off to them. But just players in particular, like Kieran Kilkenny and Con O'Callaghan, stood out to me. They looked unbelievably hungry. Looked like men that had never won anything in their lives. And whether that's O'Callaghan was given captaincy there this past few games, whether that's, maybe something that he's really taken on board and has ignited him again. He scored 7 points last week and 3-4 at the weekend. Could have been 4-4 or 4-5. So he's definitely a man in form and a man who it's going to take some watching over the next few months.
Do you just get the sense in the league with a bit of desperation? Aaron, not that it was desperate, I suppose, but that opening loss to Monaghan, we were surprised of. They lost to Mayo, maybe a bit unlucky. They beat Roscommon. They're sitting on a couple of points, home game. Is there a thing in the league where a team might come in a charge? I mean, I was in Healy Park on Saturday night. Now, don't get me wrong, Tyrone were terrible first half, but the second half they were unreal, and maybe they sensed they have away games to Kerry and to Dublin to come in their last three. Maybe they sensed, listen, we're going to go down if we don't win this. Not that you would have nifty put Dublin in that, but is there a sense maybe with league being at such a level that the energy was with Dublin and maybe Kerry just weren't ready for that challenge?
I'd say it probably is that. I suppose, if you're being realistic and you think of everything that Dublin have won and the big games that they're playing, like even your standard league games might still be hard for them to get up for it. But I just felt the other night, it looked to me like there were boys with a pint to prove nearly. Kerry coming to Croke Park, 38,000. They were up for it, and I suppose nothing sort of rubber stamped that more than the last score they got of the game. The game was over, completely put to bed, but the work rate and the tackling that they were still doing in around their own D, and they got a turnover. But as soon as they get the turnover, seriously, there was about 5 of them took off sprinting as fast as they could, and Bugler was in his own 21, and he ended up tapping the ball over into the hill on the far 21 after making a 120 metre sprint. Whatever, there was no need. The game was over, the game was done, but I just felt it was them saying, as a calling card basically to Kerry to say, this is the level you're going to need to match if you want to take our All-Ireland title off the game. And again, you just, as much as you don't want to, you have to say a fair play to them for a group of boys that have won so much to still have that hunger and desire to do it.
Do you want, I have a man beside me here, Pauric Hilferty. You were ahead of your times. I remember you making 60, 70 yard long bus and runs. I was up and down. For Aaron Kernan, you must have been ahead of your time.
I don't think that was happening to me at all, Brendan. I think you were disillusioned a wee bit.
There's Francie Freely. I was thinking about
I don't know about that.
Fast Francie.
Fast Francie. No, I was watching that game actually. Look, the Dubs were so impressive. Like on Saturday night, like a statement. Clifford, how many times? I suppose it's difficult to say.
Strange game from him, even though he still could have maybe 2-6 in the thing.
Yeah, but they definitely dominated that defensive shape as well. So look, the Dubs haven't gone away, I don't think, Aaron. That's what you're telling us, unfortunately.
No, they haven't, and the big thing for me was, and maybe you mightn't have seen it if you weren't there, which was great to be there. The one thing, Eamon Fitzmaurice mentioned this 2 weeks ago on TV with RT, it was the Mayo game last weekend, and I felt he was saying it because of who his audience is going to be whenever they're watching it back. They had no half forward line. They have playmakers in Dylan Geeney and Paddy Clifford, but they're floating around the middle of the field. They never have an outlet. So the other day, everyone sort of saying, why would a pumping high ball in on top of Clifford? They had no option because the only players in the Kerry attacking half of the field was Sean O'Shea and Clifford inside the D. But Kerry were taking the ball from the middle of the field, and any good defender, like Merchant's 7 or 8 inches shorter than Clifford, but he was just reading the flight of the ball. It was hanging in the air that long, and even the size difference. You're just giving Clifford a wee nudge, and next thing, Dublin were picking up the break and they were gone. But it's something that Kerry really need to address now, is they have plenty of playmakers, but they don't have an outlet. They had nobody in their half forward line that you could play the ball through who can give Clifford and O'Shea a 35 metre one bounce pass to their advantage. So that is definitely something. Fitzmaurice mentioned it last week. It was very notable just sitting watching the game the other day that they didn't have it, and that was the big difference in Dublin. And I'm talking about players like Ross McGarry, who everyone was sort of saying, he's only a bit part player and he'll not count, but he was getting the ball the other day out in the sideline and just dinking the ball in, and as whoever it was, Con O'Callaghan, Kilkenny, Paddy Small, playing it to a forward's advantage. So something that they're clearly working on. And for me, that was a massive difference of why Dublin were able to get the scores so much easier than what Kerry were. There was so much more fluidity to Dublin than there was Kerry. And that's something that's very surprising to see.
What did you make of the fluidity in the old box at Athletic Grounds there, Aaron? You're on about tactics there. The only reason we're talking about it is because Kerry and Dublin are setting the standards, and it's always good to look at them because that's where everybody's looking. Maybe Derry have other ideas of their own, I'm sure. But Armagh, Donegal, and where do you see them now? We talked to you earlier. You were on about the direct ball of Armagh in the first half, and how Donegal maybe didn't, go after the press the way they have in other games. Is there a lot of kind of, playing maybe an odd tactic for a few minutes, drop back and just more or less, play through a game without going full throttle? Was that your kind of feeling of the game at the weekend from the two teams?
It was. We had obviously spoke last week about it, and I just felt Jimmy would come out and try to lay down a marker, and not be afraid to set out his own stall. But I think whenever we sit and look back at it, you wouldn't want to overanalyse things at this stage, but it just sort of looked like neither team really wanted to show their full hand. My whole thing last week was I assumed that Jimmy would go for the high press and the energy that you probably had seen against Fermanagh and against Cork in particular, and I felt that would give Armagh opportunities. And the reason why I did is because whenever everyone come and sat back and played the Jimmy's tune the last time, Donegal just become a force that got inside everybody's heads, and everyone was like, well, we can't break this down, they're too well set, they're too fit, and it become a thing that got inside everybody's head. So I was thinking the other day, this is a free shot for Armagh. Look at what they're doing, see how we can exploit it, to maybe put it out in Jimmy's players' minds, that they're just not as focused or eating out of the palm of his hand. But they didn't really do it either. I thought Armagh put 4 long balls in the first half and nothing come off them, and I thought that didn't even bother me, because it's like, well, at least we're trying to get the ball in. You can work on that. You can throw video analysis in terms of trying to get someone else in with McMurnan who can feed off him or pick up that break. But then they kept going, and the last 2 balls of the half we got 1-1 off them. So I thought that was a positive from an Armagh perspective, that at least they tried it. And then also another positive that I felt was a lot of the turnovers we got against ourselves was sort of middle third, probably from our attacking 65 back to the middle of the field, where again last year we were dropping off. You could be nearly inside our 45 before anyone would have tackled you last year. So I felt there were 2 positives from our point of view. In terms of Donegal, Armagh are difficult enough to break down. They do get a lot of men behind the ball. I think the average points they've conceded all year is 10 points a game. So I just didn't see Donegal flooding at pace the way I expected them. Like, McHugh was getting up to our attacking 45, but then they were quite lateral and going to the wings, and Mogan and McBrearty kept a couple of good ones off the left. But yeah, I just didn't see us cutting open. Like you had mentioned last week about people making 70 or 80 metre long bushing runs, maybe knowing that they weren't getting the ball, but they were finishing the run on the end line. I didn't really see a huge amount of that there from Donegal. So maybe both managers sort of have an idea that there might possibly be a game in Croke Park in maybe another 3 or 4 weeks' time, and held a little bit back from that there. And I think ultimately probably a draw was a fair enough result.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, I would say from a Donegal point of view, suppose the goal opportunities that Donegal didn't take, and suppose Armagh have been renowned for their defensive shape over the years. Shane O'Donnell got in twice. If one of those goes in, Donegal's coming down the road with the points, and that's the bottom line. Yeah. Missing the penalty, Blaine did really well for the penalty actually.
Penalties are so strange. See McGuigan's one, it looks like when the ball hits the net with a good penalty, it looks so easy, and then when you see it, isn't it a strange thing? I think there's only certain people that are very talented at hitting penalties. It's a very fine art. I don't know, would you ever take any yourself?
I was always told to get out of the road. Maybe Aaron. I think Aaron might have had a few.
Aaron was a top free taker, even though he was a half back. He was a talented boy. Aaron, funny you mentioned.
Well, I definitely wasn't a free taker. That's one thing.
Geez, I remember you clipping a few of them. You weren't. Maybe we were forced to do it, but you were good.
Sorry. It. I was with no option, with no one else on the left foot.
It's the brother Stephen you're thinking of, I think.
No, he had plenty of frees as well. Unfortunately, I was watching.
No, I did. I was just penalties, to be fair. Penalties would be
and funny you mentioned about getting in the head. I suppose I often say to people from Jim's first tenure that he learned a lot from Armagh in terms of you weren't a team he liked to play against. Funny you were saying that's the way Jimmy got in people's heads. I think he actually took a lot of that from Armagh. And having Rian back, Jarlath O back as well, Murnham's performance, from an Armagh perspective, Rian coming on, I mean, what a point. He had somebody coming on, hasn't been playing, and he hits the ball over from basically, he's almost in the stand. I mean, fantastic must be from your perspective to see him back and Jareth Oak.
Brilliant. Like, realistically speaking, we're not going anywhere. You're not winning any big championship games unless Ryan O'Neill's playing and playing well for you. So just, for him to get back on the field, to get some minutes. Obviously snatched at the first effort that he had, but that's unusual. Like, it's not too often you'll ever see that happening. But once he sort of got up to the pitch of the game, got his hands on the ball a wee bit, obviously he didn't even hesitate in taking on the shot that he did. It looked like it was going to be a 1-point win for us. It's great to have him back. There's also boys back. Kieran Kelly didn't get a run there. He missed most of last year through injury. Niall Grimley hasn't got a run yet. He missed last year through injury, and also Oisin O'Neill. So there are, and they're all big players. They're strong players that sort of will be in around the middle third. So Geezer will still be happy enough. They're sitting top of the table. They still have loads of options. Competition for places is very strong. So he'll be delighted where they're sitting. I still think, well, I suppose the next few weeks will be sort of sticky enough for ourselves, because I always find us going away to Fermanagh is it's difficult. It's very, very difficult for us going to Fermanagh no matter when we go. So I wouldn't mind us just eking out any sort of a win.
Cavan last day, Aaron, for you, is it?
No, we're not actually. We're Fermanagh next, and then we're at home to Cavan. We're actually away to Cork on the last weekend, which I thought that would have been going down there to see who gets promoted, but it's certainly looking like we're going to be going down to Cork, and they're going to be fighting for their lives. So equally, it's going to be just as tough a game.
Yeah, definitely. And Pauric, from a Donegal perspective, I mean, there's a lot. Everybody seems to be playing to a certain level. You know, Ryan McHugh looks energised around there. I mean, Mogan I thought was very good last day. Langan getting more game time. I mean, Big Huey was back in midfield, another serious option. Kieran Moore again putting in the shift. McBurdy, I thought, looked sharp. You know, and then you have the subs, of course. You know, Shane O'Donnell coming on, you have Jamie Brennan to come on, Jack McKelvey, then all contributed, Pauric. And that's, you know, just looking there at players you'd nearly not forget about, but they haven't been involved yet. And hopefully Conor O'Donnell, you think, Niall O'Donnell, you know, Keelan McColgan, you know, fellas, I guess, Jason McGee, you know, Donegal are operating at a decent level, and there's still a serious amount of talent to come back. I know Keelan Ward had picked up an injury there, you know, Charles McGuinness hasn't seen any time yet, but you know, there's a serious squad making there. You know,
I suppose that's something Jim has done. You know, is getting those players back to the level, but also the players now at the minute. That game yesterday, particularly, would have brought, you know, those new players that have come into the panel, like the Kieran Moores of it, you know, brought them up a level going into Armagh, you know, before any championship football. It gives you headaches because you've got a good panel to pick from. Now, Conor O'Donnell, you mentioned Conor O'Donnell, just thinking about Conor coming back in as well. Like, he had an explosive start last year as well, so looking forward to him coming back. But Paddy McBurdy, you mentioned, I suppose, Aaron, you would have seen yesterday the movement of McBurdy has been something a wee bit of a difference this year than other years. Just some of the shots, scores he got yesterday, he was tightly marshalled as well. With experience, you take those shots on, Brendan, and suppose they go over the bar. But no, you're right. You're looking at Oisin Gallen. The levels were through the Richter scale for Oisin. Now he's getting a lot more attention, so that's opening up opportunity for more player. We've seen Shane O'Donnell coming in yesterday, and suppose Shane, you know, we know what he can do, but he was flourishing yesterday as well. So
it's an interesting point, right? Because that thing of, not that Gallen was unknown, the quality was always there, and the brilliance because of his injuries. Once you have a couple of high games, you know, the whole opposition is preparing. I'm sure, Aaron, you were thinking about, you know, you have to shut down Gallen in terms of his effect, and then that's something he has to respond to, and the team has to help still get him in the positions, because he only needs half a yard. You know, you were telling me on the way about Stevie McDonald at training, you know, the half a yard, Aaron, in terms of turning and shooting. Gallen has that capability in him.
And that's it. And to be fair, the more that Oisin keeps performing the way he's performing, the bigger the bullseye he puts on his back.
Yes.
So the opposition teams that he's coming up against, he's the first man that you're trying to nail down, because whether it's right foot, left foot, or just his willingness to take on with a shot. He like last year, whenever obviously things weren't going well, he was really showcasing his talent and didn't look, even himself, didn't look as fit or as lean as what he is looking at the moment. So the longer the year goes on, the drier the weather, the more of a run he gets injury free, the harder he's going to be to handle. And then, like you said, the amount of options that you have that still have to be looked at, still have to be focused on. all he needs is that half yard, and he has the capability between play and free kicks of chipping over with 6, 7, 8 points every day. So in terms of massive shoes to fill, if you're thinking about someone who's going to replace the focal point, which was Michael Murphy, there's no doubting that Oisín definitely has that ability to conjure up as many scores as Michael was capable of doing. And I just thought Donegal again yesterday, at times they were able to cause harm at them because there's so many people ahead of the ball. And that for me is a dangerous weapon whenever you have Gallen, McBrearty, and then you're running Power coming off. Because you get it into those two boys, they'll snapshot and shoot, but then they can also feed and bring the runners into them. So for me, you can mix and match your game then, that as a defender, if everyone's back, well, you know, right, I'm just going to face runners coming here. But if you're back and you're isolated and you're one-on-one with a sharpshooter, and you also know that there's runners coming off your shoulder or there's men going to be coming at pace, you have to sort of be hedging your bets and trying to see, well, where is the most danger here? So for me, that's what will be very important for Donegal and for Jim as he's building towards, particularly the Derry game and the first round of the championship.
Yeah. And Aaron, I was in our friends in Tyrone, of course. We always have to keep an eye on them just in case, and we know what the Derry boys are building, and they are looking like a side's going to be hard to beat. But Tyrone, and I've seen a lot in football, you know, half time Tyrone shocking 4 points, and I'm thinking this is a kind of more or less a must-win game for you. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I heard obviously from the Galway performance, you know, it's like there's trouble here. They come out in the second half, McCurry comes on the pitch, kicks 8 points, some of them outrageous, and between him and Canavan, and just what you said there about Conn and not getting carried away in late February, but I'll tell you what, them two boys were unbelievable, particularly in that second half. Really, I'm looking at them thinking, good luck to whoever has to try and pick them boys up in championship. In that form, the two of them were as good as I've seen.
Yeah, and what's brilliant, whereas I suppose a Derry person might turn around and go, oh, what did Canavan do against us? Conor McCluskey never gave him a kick of it. But McCurry's not there to take your eye off. Now, I know they'll say, right, I'll detail a man marking job, but it's the link play between those. It's just how dangerous they are with the glance of the eye, where they're popping a ball in, or Canavan's just holding it up, McCurry's off a shoulder, one step, bang, it's over the bar. It's individually, yes, they're brilliant, but it's the link play between them. And you know yourself, Brendan, whenever you're confident and you're in song and there's another man operating the same level as you, you take on with anything. You know, you throw the ball around, you not be afraid to take a man on, bit of contact, shrug him off and try and get your shot away. So definitely, there's no team, I think, in Ireland that you're talking about. You hear there's these arguments and there's disarray and there's disagreements with management and among players. And geez, they can just flick the switch and everything's good and everything's rosy. In a half, they can switch it around, which would take us maybe 2 years there and those problems out. So definitely they're dangerous. Once they get a bit of swagger about themselves and a bit of belief, they're just hard enough to handle. And we're sure of them. They're blooding so many new players that none of us really know, you know, they're only coming out of underage teams. So no, they'll be very happy now to still have Kerry away, they have Dublin away. They'll probably fancy themselves to pick up points off Monaghan away. Monaghan are going at this stage, but yeah, you'd have to say against a seasoned outfit in Mayo that it was an incredible turnaround. I was on my way to Croke Park and I was listening to your good self on the radio, and you were very bored, and Tyrone went going great, and I get into Croke Park.
Thinking of Sally's with
I get into Croke Park, and next thing is the TV's on, and Tyrone's 5 points up, and I'm wondering what the hell has happened. So, yeah, it was an incredible turnaround, and particularly McCurry kicking 8 points in one half it's serious pegging. But
you could see the likes of Shawnee O'Donnell, I thought was quite good for Tyrone. The level of work rate, they were back hunting in packs once again, like Tyrone of yesteryear, if you want to call it. But when you look at that, give them the platform as well, Aaron, moving forward, you know, working really hard, man off the shoulder. The movement was exceptional for February, but Tyrone haven't gone away.
It was poor, but what is valuable about that there is, I think, and well, everyone talked about it, but I thought that Tyrone team was just stale. They'd gone stale. It was the same players over and over again, and the hunger just doesn't seem to be there in them. And like we had just chatted a couple of weeks ago, Brendan, where you were saying, would he change his team and bring his experienced boys back the way to play Derry? And for me, I said no. I think them boys have had enough chances since they won that All-Ireland. their form has been shocking. Like they haven't even resembled a team that has remotely won an All-Ireland in the last 10 years, never mind 3 years ago. So I think they're right to give all the young boys as much game time to try and grow and build in the county players. And you've hit the nail on the head, Pauric. The big thing about them is, if nothing else, they have energy. They're hunting balls down, they're chasing lost causes, they're doubling up, they're trebling up, and if nothing else, that brings a bit of energy to the group and to their supporters, and there's no better county to feed off that there than Tyrone in particular. So I would say that was Logan and Dooher. They sort of felt, right, we took them other boys, we got an All-Ireland, they took as far as we can, but it's time to go with new and fresh blood. And the likes of Kieran Daly, Sean O'Donnell and Ganlon, Rory Canavan obviously hasn't played a huge amount of football, but we know the ability he has. He'll come in as the season goes on. So those boys are definitely, they're well bedded in and really finding their feet at the county senior level now.
Yeah, brilliant. Listen, we want to wish Fergal Logan, of course, all the best as well. I hope he makes a full recovery. Of course, he has a house in Downlands, a big love for Donegal. Like a lot of Tyrone men, they like to come and hit the Donegal beaches. I hope to see Fergal back there. Aaron, listen, you spoke about we be chatting every week, myself and yourself, beyond me Wooly. It's always an education you give me. I just kind of join in whenever you run out of things to say. But listen, I'll be speaking to you probably as the week goes on then. And on behalf of myself and Pauric, thanks for joining us this evening, Aaron, and rounded up the weekend's action.
Cheers, man. Great to chat to you.
Top man. Speak to you, buddy.
Bye now.
After the break, as I say from the top of the show, we're going to speak with the one and only Michael Sticky Ward.
The DL Debate with Sister Sarah's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sarah's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Do you currently have vacancies that need urgently filled? Have you tried various ways to find new staff but didn't succeed? Let Highland Radio help you source and fill your current vacancies in the most cost-effective way. Simply sign up to our new job spot and we will tell our listeners about your vacancies both on air and online. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday during our primetime shows, we will broadcast the latest job opportunities across the Northwest and into counties Derry and Tyrone. All job listings will be available online at highlandradio.com. For more information, contact the advertising team on 07491 25322 or email advertising@highlandradio.com. Highland Radio, we're here for you.
Chartracht Fobli o Chorla Condai Winanal. Higlet Falte, Tor, Agus Crane, a tag Dala Vian, or Valti Publi and Hyundai, a Vena Gunterch, the Uni, a Usagen, na Ubrian, or na Baltishan. Te Chorla Condai Winanal, a Kurgovnia, the Unri Talon, Agus the Echari, the Frigrachti, a Te Orhu Falte, Agus Crane, a tag Fles, a Teo na Malti Publi, a Yarushir. Agus Bahor, Shaw Yenu, Soladasian, Chaser Nyadihin, the Nyan, Gulua, and Mian Warte. Go an Chorla Condai Winanal, Weahas Loffa Shud or Fad a will an Ubershaw Janta Aku Hianafin. Chorla Condai Winanal, a Cossinge, our Bubble, Agus our Jimplachta.
Do you want the very best for your pet? At Gary's Pet World Letterkenny, we offer fantastic value on all your pet foods, accessories, grooming and pet care products. We cater for cats, dogs, rabbits, birds and fish and open 7 days per week at Letterkenny Retail Park. Or you can browse and buy 24/7 at petworld.ie and we will deliver to your home. Treat your pet with a visit to Gary's Pet World. It's what they deserve.
On March 8th, we'll be asked to vote in 2 referendums. The first referendum is about how our Constitution recognises families, and the second proposes to replace existing wording with new text to provide recognition for care within families. Find out more in the booklet delivered to your home or see electoralcommission.ie/referendums. Your vote is your voice, so be a voter on Friday, March 8th from An Comisiún Tábhachtán, Ireland's Independent Electoral Commission.
I've just had the Eclipse Cinemas experience. Wow, they truly have taken a night at the movies to a whole new level. Amazing recliner chairs, director's lounge VIP room, pizza and hot food served to your seat. Have a glass of wine and enjoy the film on the big screen. Try it for yourself at Eclipse Cinemas Lifford Strabane, where the stars shine brighter. By the way, the pizzas are amazing. You can book your seat anytime at eclipsecinemas.ie.
Sheridan Security, now introducing zero-wire smart alarm systems. Zero wire, zero mess, and a real peace of mind. With a simple press of a button, your alarm can be set or unset, or download the free app and control it from your phone. Call us today on 074 912 6025 and get your alarm from €299. Stay local, stay safe, and protect what you value most with Sheridan Security Systems.
Hi, Paddy here at Shane Conley Cars in Donegal Town. Are you looking to upgrade your car? With Shane Conley Cars, you'll find makes and models for every budget. Great finance options, and we also accept trade-ins. Check out ShaneConleyCars.com or call in to us at Shane Conley Cars from Lonaher Road, Donegal Town.
The DL Debate with Sister Sara's Letterkenny, serving food you'll love till 9 p.m. daily in Sara's Kitchen. And there's free admission entertainment every weekend.
Welcome back, folks. Now we turn our attention to club football and the Rua Club, and there was a bit of history I'm trying to find out, and I think it definitely is history. Two Rua men have won the 4 divisions, and one of them is on the line now. It is Michael Sticky Ward. How are you, sir?
All good, Brendan. How are you?
Good, my man. Good. How did you manage this feat? I know, Vicky, you've been playing a long time, my man. You've seen it all in terms of club there. You're up in Donegal with us. I remember back in the day, and through the years, you've managed to pick up pretty much everything that's going.
Yeah, I suppose you never set out to win all 4 divisions, but that's the way it panned out for me. You start out first year senior, you win a Division 1, and you think you're going to be competing every year at Division 1, but with emigration and retirement early on, the team just started to fall apart, and we went down through the divisions, and we actually ended up 1 game away from going to Division 4. It was a game against Carndon in Ballyshannon, which we were lucky enough just to win, so that kept us out of Division 4. So you think you're going to be at the top for a long time, but it can just disappear very quick, Brendan.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, Sticky. And you think of when I grew up, De La Salle and the kind of football and fraternity, there was just constant from your club. There was constant. And when I think back to when I started playing and you started playing, like John Duffy and Niall McCready and Roper, and listen, there was an unbelievable team. Championship winning team obviously, and you just felt that it would never get too bad. You would never be out a senior for a start. But you said 1 game away from Division 4, and you've seen it all now, Sticky. You're back on the rags and back competing, and a lot of good things happening in the club, and even from your own victory in the summer with Brian.
Yeah, it is unreal when you think back of it. But you're talking about the old area team when we were challenging for championships and winning championships. I think we were in 4 or 5 county finals in the 90s. But it was the De La Salle that was the bedrock of Eru at that time, and all them great players that you just mentioned. So when it closed, we lost all that extra hours them players were getting every week, and they were getting exposed to college football in Ulster, which was a massive development for them when they went to play club football in Donegal. So that was the biggest loss that Eru actually had.
Yeah, very interesting that. And at Pauric's in studio, Pauric Hilferty, here, this whole debate about the academy and that, and if you look across into the north there, Pauric, it's the schools that drive the teams. The schools are helped, they're coached, they've all top players in there, and there's a real push through. So they're all playing A grade, so they don't need the academy, they don't need the matchup, and that's something I suppose
from a Donegal point of view, and you just hit the nail on the head, Sticky, is about that kind of that college football that they were exposed to bring it in then to the actual the team of Eru that was renowned throughout the county and the country, but as I say, look, you can't get away from McCrory Cup football in Northern Ireland. It's huge. It's really just that gap where there isn't an academy in Donegal. I suppose it's a factor that it's maybe something we have to look at, Bren. Getting our schools up to that level as well. And no doubt about it. There's definitely good work happening, but maybe look at the success down through the years. Is that a trick we're missing maybe within the county? And you've seen the success of Eru. You mentioned some of the players that played, and you look at Eru bouncing back with that and how important that factor was. You only see it when it's gone, I suppose, Brendan. That's the That's the thing, but not something for the future that Donegal football should be looking more into. And Sticky, suppose, at a good number of tussles they were down through the years. And look, suppose ourselves in Termon, we went through that kind of gear change and into different divisions. And you're right, it is hard to get out of. You know, if you go from Division 1 to Division 2 down to Division 3, it's difficult at times. People just don't realise that.
It affects the whole club. I suppose, again, you Barry Ward came in there and made a big impact. Yes, and of course John McNulty then took it on to another level. You know, great signs from the club. I suppose you know the development down there as well. You know, the facilities, the pitch there. You know, everything now looks like it's set for you to come back and be back competing at the very top, as you are. But I mean, maybe challenging for a title. You know.
Well, that's our goal, is that to move forward, and we think we're getting there. The only downside we have at the minute, we have the academy in area, but our senior team now, there's 4 or 5 lads, they're in their mid-30s, so we'd be looking to hold on to them rather than ship them on, because it'll be another 4 to 5 years before we have 7, 8, what we'd be thinking would be serious senior footballers. So it's like the Glenties boys. We need our older boys to hang in there. To keep us up in that Division 1, that's vital, because from past experience, once we started slipping, we went the whole way down, and we don't want that to happen again.
Yeah. And are you going to play again this year?
Oh, I don't know. The wife says I'm not, but it's hard to know.
Oh, brilliant!
Lads, it's early in the year. It's early in the year. You know, you're up training kids, and the ball's always at your foot, and it's an itch that you always have. And if the body's in good shape and you can keep the beef off, you just don't know what's going to happen or when the club needs you. I don't think you retire from club football. You know, you just keep going if they need you or if they want you.
Yeah. Listen,
when they stop asking you, there's a problem.
That's right. That's a bad sign.
And I know you're coaching as well there, Sticky. Listen, you've put in so much to the club. It's great to see Rua back where they belong. Listen, Sticky, well done, mate. And who's the other lad that won the 4 divisions?
Big Kerry Ryan.
Big Kerry.
He was from Finner Camp.
We have to give Kerry a mention.
Oh, absolutely. Kerry's one of the great lads from area, and no more than myself. If the club was stuck this year, he'd be the first man to talk out. I think all club need men like that, you know.
Yeah, they do indeed. Sticky, fair play to you, lad. Great talking, sir, and we'll catch up later on in the year.
That'll do. Cheers, Brandon. We'll talk to you later.
Top man. That's Sticky Ward there, giving us the lowdown on his 4 divisions. We're ready. There's 2 guys outside, man, to get in. It's the greatest double act since Markham and Wise. It's Jimmy and Paul in the Monday night sessions. I want to thank Joe Dex for producing.
Brothers.
The Chuckle Brothers. Of course, Head of Sport, Oisin Kelly. Of course, the one and only Pauric Hilferty. Pauric, thanks
very much, man.
Thank my guests. I'll leave it over to the 2 guys. I'll speak to you all next week.